2 weeks after a major car accident, I left the hospital to surprise my fiancée at her office. When I arrived there, my fiancée's CEO proposed to her while I stood there with my crutches. "Marry me with my useless boyfriend," he announced. Guests laughed and cheered. I left silently, then cancelled everything. Celebration ended fast. "Marry me instead of your useless boyfriend." Those words hit me harder than the truck that put me in this wheelchair 2 weeks ago. I stood there in the doorway of Velwyn Media's downtown Tampa office, aluminum crutches under my arms, watching my fiancée Monica smile as her boss Kenneth held out a ring to her in front of their entire marketing team. "My name's Thomas. I'm 32, and I've been building network infrastructure for small businesses across Florida for the past 8 years. 2 weeks ago, a delivery truck ran a red light and crushed 3 vertebrae in my lower back. The doctor said I'd walk again, but it would take months of physical therapy. Monica said she understood, said she'd be there for me. She wasn't there when I woke up from surgery, wasn't there for any of the follow-up appointments. Too busy with work, she said. Too many important projects at the marketing firm where she'd been climbing the ladder for the past 2 years, the same firm where I'd been paying her student loans, her car payment, her share of our expensive downtown apartment. Kenneth noticed me first. His smile widened when he saw the crutches. "Oh, look, the cripple's here to watch." A few people laughed. Monica's cheeks flushed, but she didn't say anything, didn't tell him to stop, didn't reject his proposal. Kenneth was just being dramatic. She'd probably tell me later, "You know how he is at office parties." But this wasn't a party. This was a Tuesday afternoon meeting about quarterly goals, and Kenneth had decided to humiliate me in front of 24 people who'd been watching me fund Monica's lifestyle for months. They all knew I paid for the designer clothes she wore to work, the BMW in the parking garage, the gym membership she used every morning before coming home to our apartment that cost more than most people's salaries. I watched Kenneth slip a cheap costume ring onto Monica's finger while the marketing team applauded. She giggled and held her hand up to the light, admiring how it looked. For a moment, her eyes met mine across the room. She looked away first. I turned around and walked out. Nobody called after me. The elevator ride down to the parking garage felt longer than the 2 weeks I'd spent in the staring at the ceiling and wondering why the woman I planned to marry couldn't find time to visit me once. My phone buzzed with a text from Monica. "Don't be dramatic. It's just Kenneth being Kenneth." I deleted the message and drove home to our apartment. Time to see exactly how dramatic I could be. Monica and I met 3 years ago at a networking event for young professionals. She was struggling to pay off graduate school debt while working at a small advertising agency. I was doing well with my consulting business, pulling in 6 figures helping companies upgrade their IT infrastructure. She was beautiful, ambitious, and seemed genuinely interested in building something together. 6 months into dating, I started helping with her student loan payments. "Just until I get established," she said. Then it was her car payment when her old Honda died. Then half the rent when she wanted to move to a nicer place downtown. Then her credit cards when she said networking required better clothes and dinners at expensive restaurants. I didn't mind. I loved her. And I made good money. What was the point of financial success if I couldn't share it with the woman I planned to marry? Monica talked about our future constantly. The house we'd buy. The trips we'd take. The family we'd start once her career took off. But she never offered to contribute more when her salary increased. Never suggested splitting expenses differently when she got promoted to senior account manager. The financial arrangement that started as temporary help became permanent, and I became the foundation that let her live beyond her means. Her co-workers at Velwyn Media knew me as Monica's boyfriend who pays for everything. They'd joke about it at company events, asking when I was going to put a ring on it so Monica could quit worrying about money. I proposed last Christmas, thinking marriage would change the dynamic, make us real partners. Instead, it seemed to make Monica more comfortable taking my support for granted. Kenneth started making comments about Monica 6 months ago. Little jokes about how she deserved a man who could really take care of her. How a marketing executive should be with someone who understood ambition. Monica laughed at his jokes, said he was harmless. Just a middle-aged, divorced guy trying to feel important. I started noticing things during my hospital stay. Monica's Instagram posts showed her at expensive restaurants with co-workers. Shopping trips she couldn't afford on her salary. Gym selfies at our high-end fitness club, all while telling me she was too busy with work to visit. When I called the office looking for her, Kenneth would answer her phone. "Monica's in a very important meeting," he'd say. "I'll have her call you back." She rarely did. The warning signs were there. I just didn't want to see them. Monica was building a life that required my money but didn't include my presence. Kenneth was positioning himself as the successful alternative who could give her everything she wanted without the burden of loving someone who'd been temporarily broken. I'd been too trusting, too focused on recovery to see how quickly loyalty disappeared when it became inconvenient. The apartment felt different when I got home. Quieter. I sat on our expensive leather couch and looked around at everything my money had bought. The 75-inch television Monica insisted we needed for entertaining. The designer coffee table that cost more than most people's rent. The art on the walls that Monica chose because it matched her aesthetic vision for our life together. Our life. I was starting to understand there was no our anymore. Maybe there never had been. I opened my laptop and started going through bank statements. 2 years of financial records painted a clear picture. Monica's student loan payments. $1,800 a month. Her car payment. $650. Her half of the rent. $2,500. Credit card payments. Anywhere from $800 to $1,500 monthly. Gym membership. Phone bill. Insurance premiums. Clothes. Dinners. Vacations. I'd been supporting her entire lifestyle while she built her career and her relationship with Kenneth. My phone rang. Monica's name on the screen. Thomas, where did you go? Everyone's asking about you. I came to surprise you. Congratulations on your engagement. Don't be ridiculous. Kenneth was just joking around. You know how he gets when he's had a few drinks. It's 2 in the afternoon on a Tuesday. Silence. Thomas, you're being paranoid. The accident messed with your head. You're not thinking clearly. The accident. Not your accident or what happened to you. Just the accident, like it was something abstract that occurred without affecting a real person she cared about. You're right, I said. I'm not thinking clearly, but I'm starting to. What's that supposed to mean? I hung up and called my bank, then my credit card companies, then my insurance agent. Monica had been an authorized user on everything for 2 years. Time to change that. By evening I'd removed her access to my accounts, canceled the credit card she used and transferred my direct deposit to a new bank. I packed her belongings into boxes and left them by the door. Then I called my lawyer. Monica came home around 9. Probably after drinks with Kenneth and the marketing team. She saw the boxes and her face went pale. Thomas, what is this? Your stuff. You'll need to find somewhere else to stay. You can't just kick me out. This is my home too. Check the lease. Only my name's on it. She pulled out her phone, probably to call Kenneth. Then she tried her credit card to book a hotel room. I watched her face change as each transaction was declined. Thomas, my cards aren't working. I know. For the first time since I'd known her, Monica looked genuinely afraid. We need to talk about this like adults, she said. I picked up my keys. I've been supporting a child for 2 years. Time to let you grow up. Monica called 17 times the next morning. I was at physical therapy learning to walk without crutches when she finally left a voicemail. Thomas, this is insane. My rent check bounced. My car payment was rejected. You can't just cut me off like this. Call me back right now. I finished my session and drove to my office. Running a one-man IT consulting business meant I could work from anywhere. But I needed to stay busy. Needed to focus on something other than how easily love could turn into financial manipulation. My phone buzzed with texts every few minutes. Monica, Kenneth, even some of Monica's co-workers I barely knew. Monica, you're being vindictive and cruel. Kenneth, this is pathetic. Monica deserves better than a bitter cripple. Jessica from Velwyn Media. Monica's crying at work. Fix this. I blocked Kenneth's number and kept working. Around noon, Monica showed up at my office. She looked terrible, hair unwashed, makeup smeared, wearing the same clothes from yesterday. The BMW was gone. They repossessed my car, she said, standing in my doorway like a ghost. Your car, that I was paying for. Thomas, please, I know I hurt your feelings, but Kenneth's proposal meant nothing. It was just office politics, you have to understand. I understand perfectly. You accepted a proposal from another man while your fiancé watched on crutches. I didn't accept anything. I was caught off guard. You held out your hand for the ring. Monica's face crumpled. I panicked. Everyone was watching. Kenneth's my boss. I didn't know what to do. You could have said no. You could have mentioned that you're already engaged. It all happened so fast. I turned back to my computer. Your things are packed. Find somewhere else to stay. I can't afford anywhere else. You know that. Talk to Kenneth. He seems eager to take care of you. Monica sat down in the chair across from my desk without being invited. Kenneth was just showing off. He doesn't actually want to marry me. He's still hung up on his ex-wife. Then you have a problem. We have a problem. I'm your fiancé. I stopped typing and looked at her. Really looked at her. The expensive highlights in her hair that I'd paid for. The designer purse that cost more than most people's rent. The engagement ring I'd saved 6 months to buy. Still on her finger next to Kenneth's cheap costume jewelry. Take off my ring. What? The engagement ring. Take it off. Thomas, you're scaring me. Good. You should be scared. You've been living above your means for 2 years and the bank just closed. Monica started crying. Real tears this time. Not the crocodile tears she used when she wanted something. I love you. You know I love you. You love my credit cards. That's not fair. Neither is accepting another man's proposal. She pulled out her phone and showed me her bank account. $43.17. This is all I have left. My salary barely covers food and gas. Then maybe you shouldn't have been living like a millionaire on my dime. I thought we were building a life together. We were. Until you decided Kenneth could build you a better one. Monica stood up, her face hardening. Fine. If you want to be petty and vindictive, go ahead. But don't think this makes you the victim. You used money to control me and now you're using it to punish me. I used money to support someone I loved. There's a difference. I'll get a lawyer. Good luck affording one. She left without another word. Through my office window, I watched her walk to a bus stop. Monica had never taken public transportation in the 3 years I'd known her. She stood there for 20 minutes before a bus finally came. My phone rang. My lawyer. Thomas, I've been thinking about your situation. If Monica tries to claim common law marriage or financial abuse, we need to be prepared. What do you recommend? Document everything. All the payments you made on her behalf. Make it clear they were gifts, not obligations. I spent the rest of the afternoon printing bank statements and organizing receipts. 2 years of financial support. Over $100,000 in total. Money I'd given freely because I thought we were partners. Now I had documentation proving Monica had been living a lie. The call came at 2 in the morning. Monica sobbing into the phone. Thomas, I'm at my sister's place in Clearwater. I had to take 3 buses to get here. Please, we need to talk. I sat up in bed. Our bed. The king-size mattress Monica insisted we needed because her back hurt on anything smaller. What do you want, Monica? I want to come home. You don't have a home here anymore. Thomas, I made a mistake. A stupid, terrible mistake. But we can fix this. We? I'll pay you back. Every penny. I'll get a second job. I'll do whatever it takes. I turned on the lamp and looked around the bedroom. Monica's side of the closet was empty now. Her jewelry box gone from the dresser. The expensive skincare products cleared out of the bathroom. The apartment felt bigger without her things cluttering every surface. Monica, do you know how much money I've given you over the past 2 years? I don't know exactly, but $107,000. I calculated it yesterday. Silence. That's more than twice your annual salary. You've been living like someone who makes $200,000 a year on a $50,000 income. The difference was me. I know you supported me. I'm grateful. You're not grateful. You're panicked because the money stopped. That's not fair. What's not fair is finding out my fiancée has been treating me like a bank account while flirting with her boss. I never flirted with Kenneth. Monica, I've been to your office events. I've watched you laugh at his jokes, touch his arm, act impressed by his stories about his divorce settlement. You've been auditioning for the role of his next wife while I paid your bills. More silence. Answer me this, I said. If Kenneth had offered you a real proposal yesterday with a real ring and a real commitment, would you have said yes? Thomas, that's not. Answer the question. I don't know. Maybe. I was confused. There it was. The truth I'd been avoiding for months. Monica had been keeping her options open, using my stability as a safety net while exploring whether Kenneth could offer her something better. Did you tell Kenneth about my accident? What do you mean? When I was in the hospital, did you tell him I might not walk again? The doctor said you'd recover. That's not what I asked. Another pause. Kenneth asked why I wasn't visiting you in the hospital. I told him the doctors weren't sure about your prognosis. And what did he say? Thomas, this isn't helping anything. What did Kenneth say when you told him I might be permanently disabled? He said I was young and shouldn't tie myself to someone who might be a burden. The words hit like a physical blow. And you agreed with him. I didn't agree with anything. I was scared and confused and you were unconscious most of the time and I didn't know what to do. You could have visited me. I couldn't handle seeing you like that. But you could handle shopping with my credit cards while I was lying in intensive care. I needed normal activities to cope. You needed my money to maintain your lifestyle while you figured out if I was worth keeping around. Monica started crying again. Thomas, please, I love you. I made mistakes but we can work through this. No, we can't. You've shown me exactly who you are when things get difficult. You look for an exit strategy. Where am I supposed to go? That's not my problem anymore. I hung up and turned off my phone. Tomorrow I'd start building a life that didn't require anyone else's validation or presence. Monica could figure out how to survive on her actual income instead of mine. Kenneth showed up at my office 3 days later. I was expecting him. Monica had probably begged him to intervene to smooth things over so her financial pipeline could resume. Thomas, we need to talk. I gestured to the chair Monica had occupied earlier that week. About what? About Monica. About this situation you've created. I've created? Kenneth leaned back in the chair trying to project authority. At 52, He still wore his hair in the same style he'd probably had in college. Too much cologne, too white teeth, too obvious in his desperation to stay relevant. Monica's a valuable employee. This personal drama is affecting her work performance. And maybe you shouldn't have proposed to her in front of your entire staff. That was a joke. A moment of levity during a stressful quarter. Hilarious. Proposing to an engaged woman while her injured fiancé watches. Kenneth's jaw tightened. Monica told me about your arrangement. How you've been controlling her financially. Controlling her? Paying her bills? Managing her expenses? That's financial abuse, Thomas. I opened my laptop and pulled up a folder I'd prepared. Financial abuse involves preventing someone from accessing their own money or making their own financial decisions. I never touched Monica's paychecks. Never controlled her spending. I supplemented her income so she could live beyond her means. You cut off her credit cards without warning. I removed her from my credit cards. She's an adult with her own income. She can apply for her own credit. Her credit's terrible because you encouraged her to live above her means. I encouraged her to accept money she couldn't afford to pay back. Kenneth stood up and walked to my window, looking out at the parking lot. Monica's considering filing a complaint. Financial abuse. Emotional manipulation. Vindictive behavior after a disability. Tell Monica to file whatever she wants. I have 2 years of documentation showing voluntary financial support. Gifts, not loans. She has no legal claim to my money. This isn't about legality. This is about doing the right thing. You mean continuing to fund her lifestyle so she can keep working for you without financial stress? Kenneth turned around. Monica deserves stability. Then marry her yourself. Oh wait, you were just joking. I could marry her. I've been thinking about it seriously. Perfect. Then you can take over her car payments and student loans. Monica shouldn't have to choose between financial security and love. She already chose. She chose financial security. Problem is, she chose wrong. Kenneth pulled out his phone and showed me a text message. Monica sent this yesterday. Kenneth, Thomas has made it impossible for me to survive. I need help. And I helped her. I gave her money for a hotel room and meals. I smiled. How much? That's not your business. How much have you given her so far? Kenneth hesitated. A few $100s. Monica's monthly expenses are over $6,000. A few hundred won't last her a week. I'm not going to support her entire lifestyle. But you expected me to? Kenneth sat back down, his confidence evaporating. That's different. You were her fiancé, and you proposed to her. That makes you what exactly? I was drunk, at 2 in the afternoon on a Tuesday. I was emotional. My divorce was finalized last month. I wasn't thinking clearly, so you used Monica as an ego boost. And now you're upset that your actions had consequences. Kenneth looked uncomfortable. I need Monica focused at work. This situation is destroying her productivity. Then fire her. I can't fire her for personal reasons. You can fire her for poor performance. Thomas, be reasonable. What do you want? I closed my laptop. I want Monica to learn that actions have consequences. I want you to understand that humiliating someone in front of their colleagues isn't just a joke. And I want both of you to leave me alone. Kenneth left without another word. The lawyer called on Friday morning with news I'd been expecting. Thomas, Monica filed for emergency financial support, claiming common law marriage and financial dependency. She's requesting continued support for basic living expenses. What's the timeline? Hearing scheduled for next Wednesday. Judge will review the evidence and determine if temporary support is warranted while the case proceeds. I spent the weekend preparing bank statements, receipts, text messages, emails, 2 years of documentation showing Monica's voluntary acceptance of financial gifts. No contracts, no agreements, no obligation to continue support. Wednesday morning, I arrived at the courthouse with my lawyer and 3 boxes of evidence. Monica sat at the plaintiff's table with a legal aid attorney looking smaller than I'd ever seen her. Kenneth was nowhere to be found. Your Honor, Monica's attorney began. My client was financially dependent on the defendant for over 2 years. When their relationship ended, he vindictively cut off all support, leaving her homeless and unable to meet basic needs. My lawyer stood. Your Honor, Mr. Thomas voluntarily provided financial assistance to Miss Monica as gifts during their relationship. No legal obligation exists for continued support. Miss Monica is an employed adult who chose to live beyond her means. The judge reviewed our evidence for 20 minutes. Bank statements showing Monica's income and expenses. Proof that I'd never prevented her from accessing her own money or making financial decisions. Text messages showing Monica's acceptance of gifts without any agreement for repayment. Miss Monica, the judge said, your salary is $52,000 annually. Can you explain why you're unable to support yourself on this income? Monica looked confused. Your Honor, that salary won't cover my current expenses. What expenses specifically? My apartment costs $2,500 a month. My car payment is $650. My student loans are $1,800 monthly. So your housing, transportation, and debt service total approximately $5,900 monthly? Yes, Your Honor. On a salary of $52,000 annually, you take home approximately $3,400 monthly after taxes. Monica's face went pale. I hadn't calculated exactly like that. Miss Monica, you've been living on nearly twice your actual income. That's not financial dependency. That's financial irresponsibility. The judge dismissed Monica's case within minutes. No temporary support. No ongoing financial obligation. No legal recognition of common law marriage. Monica left the courthouse in tears, clutching a bus schedule. Kenneth called me that afternoon. Thomas, Monica came to my office crying. She's asking me to loan her money for rent, and I can't afford to support her lifestyle any more than you could. I could afford it. I chose to stop. She's talking about filing complaints with Human Resources, claiming I created a hostile work environment. Did you? Silence. Kenneth, you proposed to an engaged woman in front of your entire staff while calling her fiancé useless and crippled. That's textbook harassment. It was a joke. Tell that to your HR department. Kenneth's voice turned desperate. What do you want me to do? Take responsibility for your actions. Monica's threatening to go to the media. Local news loves stories about workplace harassment and disabled victims. Then you'd better hope your company has good lawyers. I hung up and drove to physical therapy. 3 weeks post-accident, I was walking without crutches. The doctors said I'd make a full recovery within 6 months. Monica had abandoned me when she thought I might be permanently disabled. Now that I was healing, she wanted back into my life. 2 months later, I heard through mutual friends that Monica had moved back to Ohio with her parents. Kenneth had been demoted after an HR investigation found multiple instances of inappropriate behavior toward female employees. Velwyn Media settled out of court with 3 women who filed harassment complaints. Monica's attempts to rebuild financial independence failed when her actual salary couldn't support the lifestyle I'd been funding. Her credit cards were maxed out, her student loans in default, and her professional reputation damaged by the workplace drama she'd helped create. Kenneth faced professional consequences when the company learned about his pattern of targeting vulnerable employees, while his executive career suffered permanent damage from the harassment investigation that revealed his inappropriate behavior toward multiple women. Both discovered that actions have consequences, and that humiliating someone who genuinely cared revealed more about their character than mine. I signed the lease for my new apartment last week, choosing a place I could afford and navigate easily during recovery. Sometimes the best revenge is simply walking away from people who mistake kindness for weakness.